An almighty war of words has broken out between Elon Musk and the Prime Minister, Keir Starmer, after Musk claimed on Monday that the violent riots sweeping the UK meant that, quote, civil war is inevitable. So the Prime Minister slammed the comments, claiming there was no justification for it. But the billionaire owner of X, formerly Twitter, hasn't backed down, has he? After hundreds of Muslim men violently attacked a pub and an individual man in Birmingham last night, Musk today took to the social media platform to ask the Prime Minister, why aren't all communities protected in Britain? He went on to brand Starmer two-tier.
The richest man on the planet has, in effect, launched a direct challenge against Britain's Prime Minister, and what followed has left the nation shaken. Elon Musk did not limit himself to casual online criticism. He accused the United Kingdom of sliding into authoritarianism and suggested it was a country in need of liberation. He claimed that Keir Starmer is overseeing a two-tier justice system, and he made these allegations at a moment when Britain was already destabilized by serious unrest. While much of the press fixated on the drama of the clash itself, it largely sidestepped the deeper issue of why this confrontation actually matters. At its heart, this is not just about riots or clashing egos. It is about migration, integration, policing, and the limits of free expression. Public anxiety over migration policy in the UK is real and widespread, and it cannot simply be brushed aside by branding critics as extremists. Many people believe key systems have broken down, particularly in relation to integration and equal treatment under the law. The crisis began with violence. Riots spread across the country after a horrifying stabbing in Southport that killed 3 young girls. False information circulated rapidly online, fueling anger. Mosques were attacked, police vans were burned, and hotels housing asylum seekers were set ablaze. As the situation deteriorated, Elon Musk posted 3 words that detonated a political firestorm: civil war is inevitable. Prime Minister Starmer reacted swiftly, calling the comment reckless and unjustified. Musk did not back down. Instead, he posed a question that struck directly at Britain's growing sense of unease. Why are all communities not protected equally? That question became even more explosive when, on the same night Starmer condemned the riots, footage surfaced of a large group of Muslim men attacking a pub in Birmingham. Witnesses said the building was surrounded, passers-by were assaulted, and police response appeared limited. Musk shared the footage and repeated his challenge, amplifying a concern already shared by millions. Is Britain now operating a two-tier policing system with different rules for different communities? Starmer responded by stating that attacks on mosques and Muslim communities would not be tolerated. Taken alone, it was a reasonable statement in the midst of national turmoil. What Musk and others immediately noticed, however, was what was missing. There was no mention of protecting pubs, no clear emphasis on safeguarding everyone equally. From that point on, Musk branded Starmer's approach as two-tier, and the phrase spread like wildfire. Within hours, it was trending on X, echoed by conservative politicians, and boosted by right-wing media. It crystallized a criticism that had been building for months, that the Prime Minister applies different standards to different groups. This controversy extends far beyond street violence or policing tactics. It reaches into the control of speech itself. In just 72 hours, more than 400 people were arrested. Disturbingly, many of those arrests were for social media posts rather than violent acts or concrete plans. One man received a 20-month prison sentence for a Facebook post said to encourage violence, despite no violence occurring. Another was jailed for sharing a meme. A woman was arrested at 4 a.m. over a tweet. At the same time, with prisons already overcrowded, the government began releasing convicted criminals early to make space for those accused of online offenses. Musk responded bluntly, asking how Britain could justify freeing criminals while imprisoning people for Facebook posts. Under UK law, online speech can be prosecuted as incitement, even without a direct link to violence. In a highly charged atmosphere, that threshold becomes dangerously easy to cross. Starmer then announced a review of social media legislation and signaled renewed emphasis on the Online Safety Act, effectively suggesting that further restrictions were coming. The riots have provided political cover for measures that would have faced far stronger resistance in calmer times. What is less widely understood is that Musk's intervention was neither random nor impulsive. In 2023, labor-linked activists worked with groups that openly sought to pressure advertisers into abandoning X. One such organization, the Center for Countering Digital Hate, was founded by Morgan McSweeney, now Starmer's chief of staff. Its stated goal was to reduce the platform's influence and profitability. Labor MPs also publicly attacked Musk and warned about the dangers posed by figures like Donald Trump. Now, those same politicians are in power, advancing laws that could severely restrict or marginalize Musk's platform in the UK. From Musk's point of view, this is not trolling or boredom, it is payback. He views this as a battle over the future of online free speech, with Britain as the proving ground. The contrast between the two men has only become sharper. When journalists asked Starmer about Musk's claim that America should liberate Britain from tyrannical rule, the prime minister hesitated, deflected, and gave no meaningful answer. Musk, meanwhile, went on live television and spent an hour criticizing Starmer's policies without notes or handlers. He described Starmer's economic agenda as vague, questioned his energy strategy, and mocked what he sees as a consistent unwillingness to take clear positions. Critics argue that Starmer relies on cautious, focus groups language designed to offend no one but inspire few. On Brexit, his stance has shifted repeatedly. On strikes, he backs unions until it becomes inconvenient. On public ownership, he speaks warmly in theory while avoiding firm commitments. Musk, despite his impulsiveness, is seen by supporters as decisive, willing to act quickly and accept the fallout. The dispute escalated further when Musk launched a personal attack on safeguarding minister Jess Phillips over her handling of historic grooming gang scandals. These cases involved the long-term sexual exploitation of vulnerable girls, while authorities failed to intervene decisively. Asked to respond, Starmer dismissed the issue, saying most people were more concerned about the future of the NHS than social media arguments. To critics, this was not online drama, but a serious example of systemic failure and uncomfortable truths being waved away. Britain now finds itself at a turning point. This confrontation represents two fundamentally different visions for the country's future. On one side is a government arguing for tighter control of online speech in the name of safety, combating hate, and managing misinformation. On the other are those who believe free expression in Britain is already being eroded and that moments of crisis are being exploited to accelerate that decline. History shows that once governments acquire the power to decide what speech is acceptable, they rarely give it up. Violence committed by a minority has handed the state an opportunity to expand its authority, and civil liberties are now under strain. Whether one agrees with Elon Musk or not, he is one of the few individuals with a global platform willing to openly challenge this direction. Some commentators have demanded his prosecution, while others argue his platform should be regulated into irrelevance. Supporters of the government rightly point out that free speech has limits, yet the core question remains: who decides where those limits lie? When that power rests with politicians under intense scrutiny, the risks are significant. What is unfolding in Britain carries implications far beyond its borders. Similar dynamics have appeared elsewhere, from platform bans in Brazil to proposed misinformation laws in Australia. Britain, the birthplace of modern parliamentary democracy, now sits at the center of this global argument. Ultimately, the outcome will depend on what happens next and how the public responds. Those who believe the state should have greater power to suppress harmful speech may view Starmer's approach as necessary. Those who believe open, even uncomfortable debate is essential to democracy will find Musk's warnings persuasive. What cannot be denied is that the Prime Minister now faces a billionaire with a vast global audience who is unafraid to confront him head-on. Musk's original question still hangs unanswered. Why are all communities not protected equally in Britain? The argument is only beginning. In the end, this is no longer a fleeting online spat or a short-lived media frenzy. It has become a defining debate about authority, accountability, and freedom in modern Britain. Keir Starmer leads a government convinced that stronger controls are needed to preserve order and protect communities in times of crisis. Elon Musk is challenging that belief, warning that those same controls risk silencing dissent and entrenching unequal justice. Both positions carry serious consequences, and neither can be dismissed lightly. What happens next will shape not only Britain's political path, but how democracies worldwide respond when unrest, digital speech, and state power collide. The question Musk posed at the outset remains unresolved and deeply uncomfortable. Why do so many people feel that policing, protection, and justice are no longer applied equally? Until that concern is addressed openly and honestly, mistrust will continue to grow, no matter how many laws are rewritten or platforms restricted. This debate goes far beyond individuals or party lines. It strikes at the heart of what kind of country Britain wants to be and how much freedom it is prepared to trade for the promise of security. One thing is clear. This story is far from finished, and its consequences will linger long after the headlines fade.